Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Anna, and today I want to do a flip through of this big grungy journal. This is a huge book, as you can see. It is made out of a repurposed book. I don't know how old the repurposed book was because I received it from a friend of mine. And it was already taken apart when I started to work on it. But I love the cover, and I have done what I think is something very nice with it. On the front cover of the book, there is an old master's painting that I backed with some gilded paper. The image is called Portrait of a Man, or Man with a Turban, and it's believed to be a self-portrait by the Dutch painter Jan van Eyck. And I thought it was so perfect for this book, with the gold and the red. He belonged there, I thought, so I put him there. I have reinforced the spine inside and out, and I have also reinforced it a bit on the outside. I have put some ticking here and up here, and I have put some hand embroidered pieces that I found thrifting up here around the spine, and also a piece down here. On the back there are some small Tim Holtz labels, and I think this book is marvelous. It's a big, heavy, chunky book. Let's measure it just for fun. Oh, it's 12 and a quarter inches by 9, and the spine is a hidden hollowback spine, and it is about 1.5 inches. It has 11 inserts and a total of, I believe, 270 plus pages, and it is quite decorated inside, but there is still so much writing space since it's such a big book. And let's start the flip through. Just move this a bit to the side and see that we get all of it in the picture right. And might move the camera a bit. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. That's good. So the old end papers, I have done nothing with them because I thought they were so beautiful with this lovely pattern, and they were in perfect condition, so I actually left them. And the new owner of this book can do whatever they want, if they want to cover it up or put a pocket or whatever they like. And it's your book. Do what you like. Since the book was already taken apart, it was a book about art, masters of art, and there was no front page, so I decided to make my own. And this is like a Dutch door page, as you can see the back of it, and this is the original frame around that image that I cut out. And instead of here you can see Ike, the name of the painter, and instead of him I put in a piece of old paper, a very old vintage doily that I found a bunch of thrifting with butterflies. I've never seen anything like it, and it was quite fragile, so I glued it down. And then of course a barn owl, because I love owls. And top and bottom there are, or in the background, there's paper from a dictionary or a thesaurus or something, and I reinforced that and glued it to another page, and then I used some Tim Holtz washi tape that is marbled to fasten it. Some tea-dye paper. This is a piece out of a 1913 book about mathematics in some kind, and I love a little tab there. Here is a Franken page, and this one is a no-sew one. I've just pieced together lots of paper that I have, and this also flips out. This is some practice of shorthand. And there's a tab up here to show that you can flip it out. Here's a page folio from a 1929 book about Swedish culture, culture in buildings and building history. Here is, I love those numbers, is from a ledger kind of style book that I bought, thrifting. Here's another page of the book about Swedish architecture and history. And here is, I just glued down a stripe of the end of the ticking. And I put a little label up here, punched a hole and put an eyelet in. And inside the eyelet there is a, let's see if you can see it, a very, very small portrait on a small tag. Excuse my dog. He wants attention. Here's the back of the Franken page that I did, and the back of the other papers. And here I have put a belly band, and I just glued that down. And inside the belly band are a tag that I made out of a collage paper. I usually do. Put a bit of washi and this image, and put an eyelet and a piece of ribbon up here. And you can journal on the back. And here this is a very old piece of genuine ephemera. It is a receipt, an Italian receipt that has been paid and stamped, and this was falling apart, so I backed it with some onion skin paper that has been tea dyed so that it can last a bit longer, because I think it's beautiful. And I just put that in there like that. I love this etching on the back. Here's some more tea dyed paper and music paper, of course, very old. I don't know how old though, because I don't have the original book. This was sent to me in Happy Mail. This was one of the few pages that was not covered in art images in the book. So I let it tag along. There's some ledger, and this one flips out. And up here is a small collage. This is a piece of 1840s book about, French book about plays and theatre. Magazine Théâtral. And this is just a big old envelope that was sent in 1975, I believe. And I just opened it up and reinforced it and made it into more writing space in the center. I think that's quite cool, actually. Here I just clipped in a piece of bridge tally and a small ephemera piece. And I clipped it in with a Tim Holtz clip. Reinforced here with some 4 cellophane tape that I made myself. Here on this flap, which slips out, I put an image from, I believe it's called, it's by Heckel. No, it's this is Botanical Illustrations, a big book with botanical illustrations that I have, and I sewed it on, and on the back side I flipped it up and made it into a pocket. And in the pocket is this postcard that has been tea dyed, and this is Karin Larsson. She was married to Carl Larsson, which was one of the most famous Swedish painters, actually, male painters, and she was a painter too from the beginning, but then when they married he said that she shouldn't be painting anymore, and she didn't, but she created anyway. She has made marvelous textiles, and she designed furniture, and she is actually the mother of the Swedish style, kind of, with the color schemes and everything. And I admire her very much, so I wanted to include her in the book. And you can journal on the back of that if you like. More pages from the original book. Here's another piece of ticking that I glue down for some interest. And on this side there is a little flip out. You can journal on the back here. I believe that is a wren in English. Gärdsmed in Swedish. And more of the music paper. And tea dye paper. Here I have made kind of a frame. I watched a video on YouTube, and I believe it was recrafted by Carol that made these kind of framey things and decorated them. So what I did was that I doubled this page. This is from 1872, it's a magazine, and quite thin and fragile. So I put two pieces on top of each other and put this image in between. And then I tore and folded a frame around it. And I think that is quite cool. There's some stamps down here and a bit of ephemera up here. I believe it's from Tim Holtz. And that makes the page a bit sturdier. Here is a tea-dyed page. And around it I clipped this image. This is a gymnastics troupe going on a international gymnastics competition. And this is from my mother's hometown, Huskvarna. And on the back you can journal. And here's another gymnast, but a bit older. And I just clip that on that page so that you can take it out if you like. Here's a reckoner from 1954. I love pages with tabs. you will notice in this book. There is quite a lot of sewing, and as you can see I have left all the threads dangling here. But I have knotted them, so it's quite secure to just cut them off if you don't like to have them. This is a piece of an old guest book, quite yellowed and nice. This page is from a French word book from 1814. I write the dates down in the corners with pencils so that you can know how old they are. And this is rag paper. And if you don't want that mark, you can just erase it. Here is another Franken page. In the center is an image made from, I believe it was Leonardo da Vinci that made it. And I just sewn on some craft paper on the sides. More of that lovely old book. And here's a quote by Nelson Mandela. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. More of that Bruckner. Tea-dyed paper. Here is a pocket I made out of some Tim Holtz what are they called? They are called transparencies, I believe, or something. And I have made a frame of it around it with cardstock, and I have sewn around. And inside that pocket there is a tag that I made. Once again, collage paper, a scan of an old cabinet card that I own, some stickers, and you can journal on the back side. I love making tags like that. I make use of the few prints of my scanned cabinet cards that I own, because I don't have any printed anymore. It broke. This is another kind of ledger paper that is tea-dyed. Here is a page from the original book. All the book was full of this kind of images. Here's another page of that 1814 book, French-Swedish dictionary actually, and some grid paper. Here's a page about the family of Bernadotte. That is the royal family in Sweden. This is Oscar II. And down here is a little pocket that I made out of one of my collage pages. Did a little more collaging on it. And inside I just put some note paper and this little girl, her dog. And this is actually a Tim Holtz image as well. Another lovely royal family. And as you can see, this is a Franken page. Here's a first page of a guest book, a piece of letter from typed out, and some tea-dyed grid paper. And here is a piece of a it's like a dust jacket from a ledger. And I have folded the edge up and made a little pocket, and I have put a little image there. And inside of it is me when I was a kid. It's a picture of me, and you can journal on the back of that if you like. Excuse me. Snälla tyst. Tack. He is in love, my dog. This is Crown Princess Victoria and her family and her Crown Prince Gustav before they were King and Queen of Sweden. This is photos from 1895 and I love it. She was very beautiful. And here they are when they have been crowned to King and Queen. I love including pictures of royal families and Swedish history in my books. This is more page from the original book. This is a Caravaggio. That ledger and more pieces from the original book. Lovely image. I love it. And tea-dyed paper. And this book page is from 1804. The book, and it is also rag paper, and it's about a trip to England. So it's a travel journal kind of. And here on this ledger flips out, and I put a little lovely image there, flowers. Here is another Franken page that flips out, and this is an image of a book from a book about fishing that will be made into a journal very soon. I love those images by Heckel, another artist that likes to draw art forms in nature. This is from a Jane Marsh book. I love using blank pages from other books as well. And another Franken page with a lovely bird image in the center. I believe the artist here is called Gold. He makes beautiful images. And here I made a little pocket out of a postcard and a Tim Holtz lady. And inside it I made a small journaling card. And this is old Italian Veronese clothing. And you can journal on the back. I love the colors and the patterns of their clothes. This is from a book about history of clothing that I own. And another Franken page with more art forms in nature. Or that is the back of the other page, right? And the ledger flips out, big ledgers. I have lots of those. Let me just get a sip of a porter. And more of that beautiful rag paper, tea-dyed paper, and paper from the original book. She is so beautiful, that lady. Tea-dyed paper. And this is from a copybook, and it also has tabs. This is a page from the original book, and a small collage with Tim Holtz things up there. More ledger paper, and here's a flip out with an image that was taken from a dictionary. And this is Carl Johan Schlüter, a stern looking man, but I like that image. Here, let's see. I have sewn down a piece of linen, vintage linen, that has been hand embroidered, and I haven't done a thing to this. I haven't tea-dyed it, I haven't done anything, but it was exactly in this condition when I found it. Very thin and worn, and I have sewn that into a pocket on this bird book. Put a little postcard, Pears soap, best for babies. And this is not old, but I thought it was cute. I found it thrifting anyway. And I will show you the rest of the linen later. Here's one of my favorite Franken pages. It has a beautiful bouquet of peonies and a handwritten letter and some false cellophane tape and an old envelope, and inside the envelope is a very old postcard with Napoleon. It has never been sent, but it is indeed very old. And I like this image. And here is one of my here is the back of the linen that I sewn down. So this is just put in with this linen. And this is a pocket. It's kind of a home archive book that I found with lots of those pockets just sewn in together. And I loved it. So I took them out, and whenever I have a big book, I like to put one of these pockets in. And this is genuine advertisements from Husqvarna Jönköping, the area where I come from. And I think it's quite nice. So in here is right now nothing, but in here will be some papers and other goodies that I will send along with the book. This ledger flips out, and on top of it I have sewn down a kind of a money order that you could fill in and send and pay for a book. And this was included in one of the books about art that I have, and I thought it was cool, and I put it in here. This book is so random. I just put everything in it that I like. More page from the original book, and this is more of the copybook. And here you can see the tabs with some letter on it. Tea-dyed paper, and this is from an old magazine from 1872. And here I did a small pocket with a playing card that I roughed up and a piece of stamped craft paper. And inside it is a small journaling booklet that I made with this lovely lady. She is one of the de Medicis, and inside this is handmade paper with lots of leaves and flowers. You can journal inside there. And once again, the etchings in this magazine is amazing. This is a folio from a very old geography book, or very old. It's from 1929, so it's not very old, but it is in it's very worn and torn, as you can see, but quite cool. This is a page from a newspaper clippings book that I found that was totally empty, but it is so nicely yellowed, and I love the red frame around it, and I use them whenever I can because the paper is amazing. Here's some more old music paper, and it's a small fold there. You can extend it or rip it off or make it into a pocket or do whatever you like. Here is another Franken page that I made, and this is an envelope that I have opened up and flattened out, and you can journal on it. And down here, this ledger was a bit taller, so I just folded it up and made it into a pocket. A small sticker there, and this little tag with some music paper and a lovely lady on it. Quite grungy, this book, full of all kind of things. And as you can see here in the center, I have another envelope that I opened up. You can journal all over this, and on the other side you can see that this was sent from Scotland, does it say Perth maybe, to Sweden in 1957. And on this page of the music paper, on this flip, I put this image, and I believe that is Queen Victoria of England when she was young, and her mother. And you can journal on the back there. Even if the book is as big as this, I still like to add lots of flips and flip outs and flip ups and flip ins so that you have even more journaling space. Here's some more of the 1929 school book on geography. Quite worn and torn and messed up, as we love it when we are young journalers. Another etching from that 1872 newspaper, and tea dye paper. Here's a page, a folio out of a book about choirs, man choirs in Sweden, or men choirs. Quite cool. I had no idea that there was such a thing as a book about that kind of thing, but when I found it, I had to have it because it was full of cool images. And I have mended it here with some false cellophane tape, and as you can see, there has been some hand sewing, which not often occurs in my books, I can tell you. I believe this might be the second time, but it's cool. Sewing is not my forte. And this is a belly band, and this is also from a book about the history of clothing, and it is backed on some paper here, and inside the belly band is this little folio that I made, and I just tied some string around it. And this is also an image from Leonardo da Vinci, and it folds out. You can journal inside it and close it up, and then no one can see. I quite like the idea of that. So, and then I just tied it up like this. Put it in here. Here's some old copy paper. This is not tea dyed, it has that color. This is a very old book. It's from 1742. 1742, that's over 200 years. That's amazing. And I love the little... This is a book about law in Sweden, and I love the paper, very raggy. They don't make books like this anymore, do they? With some nice images up there, and I love it. This is more of the numbered writing book or ledger book. A bit of Frankensteining around here, around this lovely etching from a news magazine, and I believe the magazine, did I write the date on that? No, I don't. It must be the one from 1872. And I put some tea dye paper on the both sides. More of that old 1700s paper. This is the rest of the choir book, you can see. Hårsjö manskör. They are, and they have named them, and they are, yeah, you know, very nice. And tea dyed paper, and this is a book about plants from 1919. There's a little butterfly there. It's a tab. More of that tea dyed ledger, and this is a big envelope that I opened up. And here's an image to repair bit of damage and cover up my address. That was on it. I used everything. It's a junk journal, right? And this is another one of those images with art forms in nature. Quite cool. Here is from another magazine, and I believe that was 1929. Bit of tea-dyed paper on the small tea-dyed paper that is folded crookedly. That's what I wanted to say. And more of that grid paper. And of course more Franken pages. That's one of the most favorite things about making big books, that is making Franken pages. And I think I will start using them in the smaller books as well. And here's more of the stenography practice book and some of the handmade paper. And as you can see, my sewing machine isn't working the best, but once again, it is a junk journal, so it is what it is. And I think it looks quite cool and raggedy and grungy, which is my theme of the book. More of that magazine. Here is the rest of that big envelope that I had, and I made a side tuck here with a piece of scrapbooking paper, and then I collaged with different images on it, and I think that it turned out quite cool actually. And this big journaling card we made together, and that is a Swedish Olympic winner in figure skating in the early 1900s. He looks quite proud of himself, and I like that image, and a big journaling card for a big book. Now that's paper that she dyed, and I don't know what these little splatters are. I have no idea. It must have been something in the tea, or maybe in the pan that I made them in. And this is more of the book about plants and tea dyed paper, and more of that copy paper, copy book. Here is a big doily that I tea dyed a bit. Use big doilies and big books. And here is another big envelope that has been opened up, and a small Tim Horse flower down there. And more of that 1742 book about law in Sweden. Here is another sewn in pocket that this is an old, I don't know if it's a cuff out of a blouse or something. I don't know. I just got it like this, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. And the lace is amazing. And I have been waiting for the right book to have this in, and I believe this is it. This is amazing. And inside it I put this other big journaling card we made with backing of a collaged board and this image out of a book. And I put some lace up here for a tab, and you can journal on the back side. It's reinforced with a blank book page, as you can see here. And I love using those raggedy stuff. Use it all. Here is a wheel tail tab that opens up, and here is another page of that 1919 book about plants. Lovely, lovely drawings. That big book will also be a botanical book one day, I believe. But for now, I just picked the pages out of it. And this is some millimeter paper that architects use when they draw. And this actually comes from my husband's grandfather, which was an engineer. He was an engineer. And he almost 1 week before he turned 100, he passed away. So that's cool, I think, to use his things instead of just hoarding them. Here's more Franken pages. And that's a piece of an envelope and a piece of ledger, and more of that doily. And inside the copybook, between the pages, it's this kind of pink. I believe it's a blotting paper, and it's glued on here. So I let it go along with a C. C for Clara. My daughter's name is Clara. And tea dye paper. And here is more music paper. And down here is one of my little peekaboo thingies. And there is a Swedish old, I believe it was in TV and radio, and he wrote books. He was a comic. His name was Kardemumma. It was his signature. And this is another page out of the book about theater, the French book about theater from 1840, Magazine Théâtral. And it's actually scenes from different plays, so I'm guessing that it is, yeah, maybe not about theater, but it's play. It consists of plays. This ledger also flips out, and there I have extended it a bit with this is a thing you had in a gas station, and you could count how many liters of gas someone put in the car, and they could fast see how much it was they had to pay. This is another page of the 1804 book about a trip to England. I love this paper. You can actually feel the letters, the words. It's so cool. And more of that franklin paper here with ledger and lined paper and another envelope. And this one is not opened up. This is a pocket. And inside of here is a bit of my story. This is a scan that I own. I'd actually just owned the card digitally. I don't know what the original is, but this is my grandfather, my father's father, Olof. And this is my father's mother. And this picture is taken when they just met. They're not a couple yet, even though he is kind of keen, as you can see. He was the head gardener at a big estate, and she was working in the house with the kids of the family. And yeah, I think that is must be taken late 30s, maybe, yeah, late 30s, maybe early 40s. And I put a piece of washi tape here, and this is just a book page that I folded, and the book had that in it, and I thought that was cool. So it's a journaling card with my grandma and grandpa. And in this flip I have tucked in a piece of Tim Holtz ephemera, and this is John Booth. He was the one that founded the Salvation Army. I found him in a paper, and I think he looked nice. So I clipped that in here and used a paper clip with some linen on it. And more of the Magazine Théâtral, and more tea dye paper. And here is another old book page that I had to mend a bit, and this is Birgit Nilsson. She was a very famous Swedish opera singer. She has sung with all the big ones. And on the back here I glued down a broken envelope, so there's a pocket. And here is a very old birthday card. It's from 1927, so it's almost 100 years old, and I thought that belonged there. And on the last page I put another image from a book. And we have reached the end. That was a long one, almost 40 minutes. But a big book takes time, right? This book will be available in my Etsy shop, probably later today. It has been so much fun to make. I have had so much fun. and I put lots of things in it that I like, all kind of random things, just the way I like to make my books. No specific theme, just go with the flow, grungy. And yeah, I hope you liked this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. I have a giveaway coming when I hit 400 subscribers. And please say hi down below, or if you have any comments about this book. This will be all for today. So thank you all for watching. I will talk to you guys really soon. Bye.